Hi there, Paul Anderson, George Fox University in Oregon. I'll be speaking here on the Jews who believed as textual facts in the Gospel of John. I'll share my screen here. So, what do we do with the fact that many of the Jews, many of the Judaioi, do believe in the Gospel of John? I think we have flawed assumptions on Johannine history and theology. One flawed assumption: the fourth gospel is anti-Jewish. No, John is the most Jewish of the gospels. Two, the Judaioi are presented as unbelieving overall. Well, partially, but no. Some of Judaioi, I would say many times Judaioi, are presented as believing in Jesus. This happens multiple times. Third, the parting of the ways is actualized. No, things are more variegated. We probably have an intra-faith contest going on here. Well, critical problems with point one. If John is anti-Jewish, why is Jesus presented as fulfilling the epitome of Judaism and of Jewish typologies? Jesus fulfills Moses and Elijah. Jesus is the King of Israel, the Jewish Messiah Christ, the one of whom Moses and the prophets wrote. Over a dozen Jewish scriptures are fulfilled by Jesus. All of the I am themes and metaphors typify Israel. Jesus embodies the temple and also Jewish feasts. Critical problems with point two. Are the Judaioi always presented negatively in John? Factually, no. Some references to Judaioi are geographical, people from Judea, the south. None of the general Judaioi references, though, are negative. Only half of the Judean references to Judaioi are negative. Most are neutral. Many of those are positive, though, and all who believe in Jesus in the fourth gospel are Jewish or Samaritan, and that's a fact. So look at these texts, the Judaioi who do believe in Jesus. 2:23, in Jerusalem during the Passover, many of the Judeans believed in him because of the signs. 7:31, many in the Judean crowd believe in him, and some were saying, when the Messiah comes, will he do more signs than this one? John 8:30-32. As he was saying these things, many Jews in Jerusalem believed in him. And Jesus said to the Jews who had believed in him, if you continue in my word, you are my disciples. 9:38. The Judean blind man said, Lord, I believe, and worshiped him. 10:19-21. The Judeans were divided because some believed in Jesus. 10:40-42. Many of the Judeans, the Jews, believed in Jesus across the Jordan. 11:45. Many of the Jews, therefore, who had come with Mary had seen what Jesus did, and they believed in him. 12:19-11. When the great crowd of the Jews learned that he was there, etc., many of the Jews were deserting him, were deserting the authorities, and many believed in Jesus. 12:42. Many of them, even among the Jewish authorities, believed in Jesus. You also have Nicodemus, a leader of the Jews, coming around. He stands up for Jesus in chapter 7. He assists with the burial in 19. Jesus declares salvation is of the Jews. 4:22. The Judeans, Judaioi, reject Jesus because he is from Galilee, not Bethlehem. So here is an issue not of religion, but its region. It's people in Judea who reject the northern prophet. That is the clear meaning of the text there. Pilate even posts Jesus as the king of the Jews, and he says, what I have written, I have written. I think that the note in John 1:19 in the NRSV is helpful. The Greek term here, Judaioi, should refer to those Jewish leaders who oppose Jesus. And these 15 cases, I think, are more factually correct as opposed to the entire Jewish nation. So they should be better translated, the Judean leaders or the Jewish leaders. All of the general references to Jews are neutral. The Passover of the Jews, the festival of the Jews. You have a positive one, salvation is of the Jews. But you have all of these references, the day of preparation of the Jews, they're all neutral. None of them are negative. So critical problems with point three. had all Johannine believers separated from the synagogue. We have a parting of the ways that's totally individuated. No, that is anachronistic. Their Birkat Haminim probably had some defection from synagogues, but it probably was not even intended or effective to be programmatic in an absolute sense. Johannine leaders and community members probably worshiped in synagogues on Sabbath, probably in house churches on first day. And so you have a lot of interaction between communities. You also have separations being more local, having particular histories. Even the pseudo-Clementines, 2 centuries later, reflect on the Jewishness of Jesus and his movement. And I would say that is why we have tensions. Territoriality exists only among members of like species. Therefore, Paul argued for the boundaries of Judaism. John, a bit later, argued for the heart and the center of Judaism. Thus, the Johannine Jesus fulfills Moses, Elijah, Abraham, Jewish scripture, and Israel as a pro-Jewish text. So what do you do with the Jews who believed as textual facts in the fourth gospel? First of all, we need to reject, historically, critically, anti-Semitism and religious violence as flawed interpretations of the fourth gospel. Second, we should question also anti-Judaism in John, given the fact of the pro-Jewish presentation of Jesus as the Jewish Messiah Christ, the King of Israel, the one of whom Moses and the prophets wrote. Third, we should take note of the textual fact that many of the Judaioi in the Johannine narrative actually do believe in Jesus. You can have your own theories, but you cannot have your own facts. Fourth, the Johannine writings reflect an intra-faith set of tensions, true, rather than interfaith polemics, although those things develop later on, of course. And therefore, we need to note how the Johannine revealer also challenges Christian religious views with universalist and spirit-based teachings. And in that sense, it wasn't just religious leaders of the first century that are being challenged by Jesus, but that happens in other settings as well. So, thanks a lot.